Hey guys, and welcome to my channel. In this video, I want to address a comment that was left under one of my videos. It was a viewer that was feeling conflicted about standing up for herself and not feeling like the bad guy or a mean person for standing up for herself and enforcing her boundaries. She also disclosed to me that she was a Christian, and this also added an element of confliction within her because she's trying to turn the other cheek and be patient and love thy enemy type of thing. And that also conflicted with her standing up for herself, and which also added to making her feeling mean in doing so. So I want to go ahead and address that in this video because I do believe that this is a very relevant topic for a couple of reasons. Number one, I do think that narcissists use religion against survivors. Yeah, when they meet a supply that is religious, they will try to use that to get more sympathy, to get more mercy from you, and get more opportunities to linger in your life and for you to do things for them, or basically for them to secrete supply out of you. And also for the people that are non-religious, just playing off of your kindness, period. The narcissist seeks kind people so that they can exploit them for that kindness. Because believe it or not, there aren't like an abundance of overly generous and kind people out here who just assume the best of everyone. A lot of people in this world right now is actually very selfish. A lot of people in this world is very, very selfish. So the narcissist knows that they have struck gold when they meet someone that is actually willing to listen to their problems, be a part of the solution, and be this devoted and selfless individual that comes in and cleans up their life and just makes it all better. They know that they struck gold. They don't want to give you those compliments because they want you to feel like you should feel privileged to have them, but they know that they struck gold, and it's not always easy to find this good supply. Okay? So with that being said, I want to leave a message for people, for us kind survivors, because chances are if a narcissist approached you and stuck around, they seen that kindness in you, they seen that generosity in you, and they seen where you like to give people the benefit of the doubt. Now, here's the thing. There's nothing wrong with being a kind person. That is fine. We need more kind people in this world. Okay, because a lot of good can be done in this world through kind people. But I want to give you something else to think about today that will hopefully help deter you from using your kindness in a way that is actually counterproductive and goes against what you may actually be trying to sincerely do. Let's say that we had a charity. You wanted to donate some money to a charity, okay? And this charity, though, was a crooked charity. Any money that you put into this charity was not actually going to make it to the children. It wasn't going to actually help anyone but the crooked owner and their Ponzi scheme. So if you took money and donated it to this crooked charity, was it really a good deed? Did anything good come of it? Or was your kindness used to fuel a level of darkness, basically? It was used so that that criminal could further their agenda. This is what can happen when kind people do not discern and be careful about where they're spreading their certain levels of kindness in their resources. And this is what happens when we meet a narcissist and we keep fueling them and giving them all this supply and putting all this goodness into them. And what's coming out of them is a bunch of negativity. They're taking your money and spending it with another chick. Or, it's nothing fruitful or positive coming out of this situation. And when you look back on all that you did for the narcissist, what did you get in return? It wasn't even reciprocated. So yeah, you were doing a charity, because we can do something for a charity and not really want anything back other than having that satisfaction of helping another group of people or another person. But this charity that you're giving the narcissist is actually helping him go out and do bad. So we could be kind, but if it's misguided and misdirected, we actually end up helping the bad guys. And this is why you have to have two things. You can be kind, but you have to know how the world operates out here and use your intellect and discerning who can be trustworthy and who cannot. All right, guys, because we can want to do the good thing all day long, but if we're doing it for the wrong people and the wrong sources, it's counterproductive, guys. And once you find out that's the case, as this young lady did, you should put your foot down. You should. Why should you then continue to go down that path where you know that is leading you somewhere negative? You have a right and a responsibility, and even as a Christian, yes, to do the right things. As a matter of fact, the man that God has for you, young lady, is not the man that wants to exploit you and take advantage of you. So before we even get to you feeling mad about standing up for yourself, did you go to God and ask him, hey, is this person ordained to be in my life? Or did you go and decide for yourself that this person was ordained, only to find out later that that wasn't a person that God was sending to you? We have to learn how to go to God first and pray to him before we do these big deeds and big favors for anybody. Get his blessings about a situation. He will reveal stuff to you if you sit and wait. Don't let anyone make you feel like you have to rush to make any type of decisions. Okay? So we have to turn to God in the case of the young lady that's a Christian and she's feeling bad about standing up for herself. Let's turn to him first and foremost to find out who should be in our life and who shouldn't. Let's ask him before we get involved with people. And sometimes he might tell you something that you don't want to hear. And we might have hoped and wanted to thank this charismatic person, because narcissists, they come off real charming and they sweep you off your feet. And they almost feel too good to be true, which is a red flag in a certain sense. But if we bring it to God first, in her case, and for those of us that believe in him, and we ask him who should be in our lives. But once you see that a person is not upholding your boundaries, you have to flee it. And I'm talking to the young lady right now as a Christian. He says to flee from sin. How can you get mad? That's like saying, okay, I'm not going to have premarital sex, but the narcissist wants me to. Oh, I guess I'll just let him have his way. No, you have to flee from that. If you can't respect your boundaries, you have to remove that person. Because that's not love. And the Bible has definitions of what love is and what love isn't. It's kind, right? It's patient. But it's reciprocal. Was the narcissist kind and patient with you? All right. So not just you, not just one way. Not just one way. And here's the other thing that I want to say to those of you out there that have a hard time standing up for yourself because you don't want to look like the bad guy and you feel mean and yada, yada, yada. Isn't it mean to yourself? I'm going to answer that question for you. It is. It's mean to you to do that. Only you can validate yourself in this life. Because sometimes we get into this people-pleasing phases, or we spend our life in this way because we want validation from other people. We want to be accepted. But have you accepted yourself first? Because you may not have. For you to need all this validation from other people, it would indicate that more than likely you have not accepted yourself. So this is something else to work on, because you're being mean to yourself. And not only that, you're setting other people up to have a very negative expectation of you. And what is that expectation? The expectation is he or she will always do what I want them to do. They don't really have any individuality. Whatever I say, go. This is what you're teaching other people about yourself. When you behave this way, when you feel bad for being you, for standing up for yourself, for saying, no, I'm not okay with that, or no, I'm not going to tolerate that, no, I'm not going to accept that, no, I can't do that for you, no, I don't want that. There's nothing wrong with doing that. You have to. If not, the typical person will just run you over and take advantage of you. How is that working out for you? How is it working out for you being afraid to say no or feeling bad about that? It will lead to you feeling slighted, taken advantage of, always getting the short end of the stick, always carrying more of the workload. When do you start getting what you want? When do you start? When do you start mattering? Your feelings, your thoughts, your desires, when do those become number one? When do they become number one to you? I just don't want you guys spending your lives just letting it run by and you're not being yourself. You're not being authentic. And you're walking on a thin rope just because you don't want to speak your mind, or you feel like this person ain't going to like you or accept you. Screw them. Screw them. I'm going to make a part 2 for this. And, as usual, we're just sitting down and we're having some tea and, we're talking right now. We're talking. But you have to become secure in yourself so that you won't have these issues. Because when you have these issues, it's because you're not secure in yourself. You have to get to this place where you are okay with just you. If nobody else in this world likes you, you love you. And that's all that really matters. As long as you have that, you have everything. Because you can give yourself that inner peace. You can give yourself that happiness. And then you don't have to people please. You don't have to say yes. You can do only what you feel like doing and nothing more and nothing less. That is the most freeing thing in this world. Because I live my life that way. And I don't care what people think about me. I really don't. I'm so serious. I don't conform to what society says I should look, how I should dress. I do what I feel like doing. I don't have nothing to prove to anybody. And you need to get that comfortable with yourself. And then you won't feel bad about it. But I do understand a lot of this stems from our childhood. You might have been brought up in an atmosphere that did not encourage you to speak up for yourself and whatnot. I understand that. But you don't have to stay in those places. And I'm glad that you're asking that question, because now you can begin to unravel this and reverse, this wrong way of thinking and this wrong way of being. Because while you think you're being mean to everyone else, you're being mean to them and you. Because now they're not meeting the real you, because you're not being authentic if you're walking on eggshells. And you're being mean to yourself because you're suppressing yourself. You're actually suppressing your true self. And that eats a person up over time. So I want to encourage you to lift that burden off of yourself. And for the young lady that left a message and that's a Christian, go ahead and lay that on God. Pray to Him. Let Him know, Father, I want to be able to stand up for myself. I want to feel comfortable being myself. Give it to him. Start praying to him that he will give you that. And he will give you the peace. You can also, start exercising this in your everyday waking life. Yes and no on the smallest of scales. Oh, we're all, your coworkers, we're all going to be going to do this painting and wine thing Friday night. Do you want to go? You really had a long week. You don't really want to be bothered. Everybody else is going, but you don't really feel like being bothered. You can say no. You don't have to go along with it. If you don't really want to do it, you can say no. Don't feel peer pressure, because someone that doesn't like to say no, that feels uncomfortable, a lot of times they feel peer pressure. Or they're always thinking about what other people will think or feel. What about what you will think and feel? That is what matters the most. Because you can be out of everybody's presence but yourself. Wherever you go, you have to take yourself with you. And for the rest of the life that God blesses you to have on this earth, you can choose to live it authentically. You can actually make that decision. Like a lot of times we put ourselves in these bondages when we can, in a split second, decide, hey, all that's over with now. I'm going to free myself. I'm going to give myself permission to be me. Permission to do what I have to do. For me. And whoever doesn't like it, they can hit the road. And I'm not losing any sleep over it. So I really hope that this helps someone begin to start seeing things in another way, because perception becomes reality. Because you're feeling bad about saying no because it's something in your perception that is negative about standing up for yourself when it needs to be a positive thing. So when you start switching your perceptions around and think about these pointers that I've given you throughout this talk here, you're going to start seeing why it's not only a positive thing, it is vital to your being. Because what is all that kindness if it goes in a wrong place, if it falls in the wrong hands? Okay? A kind person could fund a terrorist if they're not using their beings, if they're not using their common sense. We have to see how the world works. Just like we have good out here, there is a ton of evil. And you have to be aware of that. And we can't let the evil people come and extort you and use you for your kindness and your naiveness to further their agendas. So then you would basically be helping all these people sin because you couldn't say no, because you couldn't stand up or listen to your inner voice. Because I know it's in there. I know you hear it sometimes, whether you want to acknowledge it or not. It's there. It's time to let that voice up. It's time to live your authentic life. It's time to give yourself permission. And that goes for all of you that have that problem. So I hope this video helps someone. Listen to it again. Listen to it again. Listen to it again. As many times as you need to. Listen to this video. You need to drill these ideas and thoughts into your mind so that you can change your perception. Alright guys, so if this video resonates with you, go ahead and hit the like button. If you haven't yet, please subscribe to my channel. We stand up for ourselves around here, and we're unapologetic about it. We've been through enough. Narcissistic abuse, that's a horrible thing to pull yourself up from. You don't deserve any more BS. We have to start freeing ourselves of these toxic behaviors so that we don't fall back in the same traps again. All right, guys? So until next time, take care.